Have you ever felt like you're repeating a relationship? The same arguments, the same disappointments, just with a different person's face. It's a frustrating pattern making you wonder, why does this keep happening to me? What if this cycle wasn't a curse but a script written deep in your subconscious? Sigmund Freud observed that some people seem to be pursued by a relentless fate, but are, in his words, unwittingly bringing this fate on themselves. This repeating loop points to a paradox. We find comfort in what's familiar, even when that familiarity is a source of our pain. This pull towards the familiar is why recognizing a relationship is unhealthy is often not enough. A truly supportive connection can feel so alien that our minds might register it as more threatening than the known discomfort. Breaking these chains requires more than awareness. It requires a courageous journey into the unknown. Have you ever looked back at your relationships and felt a weird sense of déjà vu? You meet someone new, and the same old problems start creeping in. What if you're unconsciously writing the script yourself? This is an idea from Sigmund Freud called the repetition compulsion. The core idea is that we are unconsciously drawn to reenact painful experiences from our past. It's not for pleasure, it's an unconscious attempt at mastery, as if some part of your mind is thinking, maybe this time I can get it right. Imagine someone who grew up with an emotionally distant parent. As an adult, they might find themselves repeatedly drawn to partners who are emotionally unavailable. It's because their unconscious is desperately trying to win that old battle. The tragedy is that this almost never works. Instead of fixing the original wound, you just end up re-traumatized. There's a safety in the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. The question to ask isn't, why does this keep happening to me? But, what old script am I trying to rewrite? Because realizing you're the director is the first step to finally changing the play. The answer to, why do I love the way I do, is arrived at by looking backward. The foundational premise of psychodynamic thought is that our earliest experiences serve as the indelible blueprint for every relationship. We are taught what love is and what we have to do to get it. If you've ever felt stuck in a pattern, that's because your relational programming was written in childhood. Object relations theory suggests we have an innate drive to connect with others. Our primary caregivers become objects. The way they treat us forges internal objects, the mental representations that live inside of us, directing who we find attractive. If our childhood was marked by emotional distance, we may gravitate towards unavailable partners because it feels familiar. Attachment theory is powerful. It maps out relational blueprints. Think of an individual with an avoidant attachment style, often formed by parents who were neglectful. That child learns a brutal lesson: needing someone is dangerous. As an adult, they seek out partners who are emotionally distant. This protective mechanism from childhood turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Think of Cameron, who grew up with a father who was critical and emotionally distant. She finds herself drawn to men who are critical and emotionally unavailable. This pattern is a reenactment. Her unconscious mind is not seeking pain, but a resolution. It's trying to earn the love she was denied. She remains trapped in the same cycle of disappointment. We like to think we're in the driver's seat. But what if the real choice was made long before you ever met them? Sigmund Freud said we meet those who already exist in our unconscious. Your unconscious mind is psychological source code written during your childhood, influencing who you love. These unconscious desires are the ghost in your relationship machine. You might find yourself in a loop, repeatedly drawn to emotionally unavailable partners, an echo of an unresolved pattern. Your unconscious isn't trying to hurt you, it's trying to heal. It seeks out people who represent the parts of yourself you've lost. One way this ghost makes its presence known is through projection. But this isn't just a recipe for disaster, it's a distorted roadmap to healing. The things that drive you crazy about your partner might be signs pointing to the parts of yourself that you've disowned. What feels like an unhealthy attraction is often an unconscious yearning for wholeness. The story of Oedipus Rex is what happens when this unconscious programming goes unchecked. A testament to the power of the unconscious to steer your fate when its conflicts remain buried. When a relationship turns sour, your instinct is to look at the other person. But what if the saboteur is inside your own head? The architect of that story is your own ego, trying to protect you. Your ego, faced with the pain of a failing connection, deploys defense mechanisms. One of the most common of these saboteurs is denial. This is at play when you see all the red flags, but tell yourself that Any relationship is better than being alone. Then you have repression, where you unconsciously shove painful memories so deep they make you repeat the same toxic patterns. And there's rationalization, crafting logical-sounding excuses for inexcusable behavior. What all this reveals is that the pain of an unhealthy relationship is not just inflicted from the outside, it is actively maintained from within. The ego's shield has become a self-imposed constraint. To truly break free, you have to be willing to lower that shield and embrace the self-honesty needed to build something real. Their friends warn them, but they're convinced their love will fix this broken soul. In real life, the credits don't roll on a happy ending, leaving you wondering why you keep casting yourself in the same tragic role. The cycle isn't something that happens to us, it's a script we keep reenacting. Starting in childhood, if experiences taught us that love was tied to anxiety, our brains tag that feeling as home. Become the conscious editor of your own story. Build a life so fulfilling you're no longer auditioning people out of fear. You deserve a supportive co-star, not a project that needs fixing. Establish firm boundaries.